Al Jazeera Podcasts.
Today, Palestinians in Gaza return to their destroyed homes.
It was actually a historical scene, and I'm very thankful and grateful that I've witnessed such a moment in my life.
With Gaza in ruins, what does a day in the life look like? I'm Kevin Hirten, and this is The Take.
A few minutes before the ceasefire announced, there was a family, a father and the three of his children were heading back to their home. But once he arrived, he was shocked by what he seen. He have seen that his home, a 5-story building, was leveled down to the ground. The whole neighborhood was totally destroyed. So once he saw his home, he fainted. He wasn't able to take it anymore, and he just fainted, and he died later in the hospital with a heart attack. This is Maram Humaid, Al Jazeera English digital correspondent in Gaza. I've been covering for Al Jazeera for the past 5 years, and I covered the Israeli war in Gaza throughout the past 15 months. And today was the day of return to the north.
Okay, Maram, just to start, I noticed that you're sitting in the dark. Does that mean that you don't have electricity right now?
Yeah, actually, there is no electricity in Gaza throughout the past 15 months. Since the start of the Israeli war, we didn't have electricity until now. We don't have even internet. The basic services are not available. So I depend on using the solar panels in order to get the electricity to charge my laptop, my mobile. And then when it gets darker every day, we only use flashlights and the mobile lights. That's it.
Wow. And now that it's winter, you have even less sunlight, and you need the electricity even more. Yeah.
And in the day when it is very rainy, we almost do not have the electricity at all. We don't have the solar panels working, so it would be a day without electricity, and it's like a challenging day. Like a day without electricity means that I need to go to the hospital, the place I am working from, to charge my mobile and to charge my batteries and to charge everything. I will be chasing, behind the internet and electricity. Also, my family will call me and asking if I have a space to charge the mobiles and the batteries. So they would come in my workspace at the tent in the hospital in order to charge their mobiles and batteries. So this has been the case throughout the past 15 months.
Wow. Just those little things, the battle to charge your phones when it's raining. Oh my God. Okay. Let's start with just some basic news of the day. You've been in the north where tens of thousands of displaced Palestinians in Gaza are returning home. They're literally walking home for the first time since Israel's war on the enclave began. Can you try to put into words what you've just witnessed? What are people returning to? How different it is to the homes that they've left behind?
It's one of the most hysterical days ever. Like, it's an emotional day filled with tears, with astonishment. Actually, I can't put it into words describing this day, but for me it was the real meaning that the war has stopped, that we are able to go back to our homes back in the north of Gaza. And I started my morning at 5 a.m. I went to the Tabbat al-Nuwairi, which is the last point that we could reach throughout the past months. where then the Netzarim corridor would separate between the south and the north. So today it was announced that the tanks and the Israeli troops on the Netzarim corridor, they withdrew so we could cross to the north. So floods of people, thousands of people crossed the coastal Al-Rashid street.
Thousands of families, of people, elderlies, women, men, girls, kids, children. Everyone is everyone here holds his belongings, his things, and is heading back to their home in the north of Gaza. It looks like Eid. There is music, there is songs, there is people are cheering, they are shouting and singing these sounds and the songs of Al-Awda.
It was really touching to see these numbers of people heading back to the north after this long period of being displaced, being exposed to the many ways of suffering, starvation, evacuations orders from here and there. It was actually a historical scene, and I'm very thankful and grateful that I've witnessed such a moment in my life, because the day when I left Gaza back in October 13, 2023, it was the worst day and the darkest day of my life, actually. And I was, filming from that day from my phone, the people who were displaced and desperately trying to find a place to shelter in, and they were evacuating to nowhere and walking on foot towards the south of Gaza under the force of bombing and airstrikes. And today I was filming the same population returning to the north. It was touching, and I was in tears actually witnessing this moment.
Wow.
And I walked actually through these crowds in order to let these feelings of that I'm going back, I'm returning to the north, inhaling inside my heart.
Yeah.
But the feeling that I am freely can walk and to cross. I crossed the Netzarim corridor. I crossed that area that we banned from reaching throughout the past 15 months. I never crossed that area since then. So today it was really a feeling of disbelief and relief, being able to cross and to walk freely. Like it's really touching.
Oh my goodness. So you said relief on people's faces. You're walking with the crowd. Once they get there, though, there are huge challenges, right? They are finding that their homes have been reduced to rubble. And there's danger there. There can be unexploded ordnance. There are also bodies that are buried in the rubble. Have you talked to anyone who's experienced that whiplash of seeing what their home now looks like?
Actually, throughout my coverage today, I was talking to people and I was asking one question: is your home still standing? They would say like 90% of me, they told me no, we don't have. Like our home was destroyed, but we still want to go back and to erect our tent above the rubble of our home. So maybe this is a sort of resilience, but at the same time, I see it another way of coping with the same situation. In the South, people are displaced and they endured the life and intense, which like indescribable life, actually, many humiliation and many suffering. But people would rather be like back to their homes and feeling that they are breathing the air of their lands. I was talking to people who will eagerly waiting to be reunited with their families. In my car, I took a woman with her 4 kids, and she was displaced alone throughout the past 15 months. She told me how she suffered, how she was the father and mother, how she endured a huge responsibility caring about her 4 kids who are under 8 years. And also, I met the other sad parts of those who lost their beloved ones and were unable to bury their beloved ones, are still under the rubble of the homes. They got the news of their beloved ones, but while being displaced, unable to call anyone to help them extracting these bodies or retrieving these bodies from under the rubble. Unfortunately, one of those is my colleague. His name is Soltan. He's a journalist who lost his mother and 3 of his brothers, sisters, and other family members just 3 or 2 days before the ceasefire was announced. So it's a fresh injury. It's a very fresh injury after he endured the risks of coverage in the South as a journalist, and he was threatened to be killed here and here, and he was just eagerly waiting to the moment when he will reunite with his mother and his family. So it's a devastating loss for him. And I met Amir today. He was crying. He was silently crying. I met him just capturing images and taking images for the people while tears in his eyes. I felt heartbroken for him. He's just performing his job, taking the scenes of people who are being reunited or heading back happily to their homes, while he himself, he missed and lost this opportunity to reunite with his family. So it's not the end of the story. I know that the return to the north of Gaza will open an open injury already for everyone, an open wound. Imagine that you return as an incomplete family.
Oh, Maram, I don't even know what to say. It's, thank you for sharing that kind of reporting. I just don't think people get it. You're seeing these images of people, but you're right. That's it. These are incomplete families, many of them. Many of them are returning home with a piece missing. More with Maram after a quick break. So, Maram, we're over a week into the ceasefire. We saw the jubilant reaction among Palestinians when the bombs finally stopped falling. But now I imagine reality is setting in. As you mentioned, so much of Gaza has been destroyed, buildings flattened, infrastructure targeted, but people still, they have the same needs. They have the same routines. I want to get a sense of what this new normal looks like. And with that in mind, I'm hoping you can walk us through what a typical day looks like for you and your family. Maybe you start with the morning. It's cold there. You have children. What does your morning routine look like?
My life turned upside down since the beginning of the war, and it's still the same, even after the ceasefire. As I told you, there is no electricity. That means that I'm washing laundry on my hands, and I don't have a fridge, for example. I totally forget about something called a fridge throughout the war. Every day we woke up to see what are the available food items actually in the market that we can have for breakfast. And we have kids. I can't skip this meal directly, and replace it with a cup of coffee. I have those kids who are crying, and most of the times I could make popcorn for them, or just to try to silence these kids with some available things. But it's really like a hard and a difficult start of the day. Then we are talking about a place without internet, without connection. So after preparing my kids, I prepare myself to head to the hospital. Why? Because the hospital became the main place where journalists in Gaza are working from. We don't have workplaces, and the only place that has electricity and internet are the hospitals. So my workspaces throughout the past 15 months is Al-Aqsa Hospital, which is the sole operating hospital in the central area of Gaza. And in order to get there is no transportation, there is no car, there is no fuel left. So I would stand for more than 2 hours looking for a transportation, for a vehicle that can carry me to my work. In the first months, I was going on foot, walking more than actually 3 to 2 kilometers. And it's very dangerous, during the war to walk, and because of the constant airstrikes around. And most of the times, I have many videos that these cars that dragged by animals, by donkeys, horses. Yeah. And I would, use these in order to go to my work. I get into many embarrassing and annoying situations. I am someone who's like, I'm not afraid of bombings, but I'm afraid of the donkeys and the horses. But many times I was sitting on these carts, and a donkey or another cart would approach me, and I would shout and scream because of because of that. So
enough donkeys. You've seen enough donkeys, I guess.
Yeah, enough donkeys, and I was hit. I like many donkeys hit me, because of this sort of the transportation. So I prefer just to walk sometimes.
So the feeling is mutual between you and the donkeys, is what you're saying?
I hate donkeys.
Okay. What about just basics of housing? Where are you actually living? You're living in a tent? Is that what you said?
No, I don't live in a tent. The apartment I was living in, it's a 60 meters space, and I was living with 25 people. 25 people. I only have one mattress, one pillow, and next to me other like lines of other family members and relatives sleeping besides me. It's wow. Like I've been through many suffering, and because you asked me that are you living in a tent, I still see that I am lucky enough because I wasn't living in a tent. I was living under a ceiling. So I don't have the right to talk about the suffering, because the real meaning of suffering is living in a tent. But also I was suffering on the personal level, because I was displaced and I wasn't able to be at least in a single room for myself, me, my husband, my kids. Imagine I spent 10 months of the war. I didn't have a moment by myself alone, with my family and with my husband and with my kids. It was impossible.
This has been such a tough conversation. I mean, what you're describing is very difficult. So I did want to end on something somewhat positive. Things since the ceasefire have gotten a little bit better. And I heard that your children have been able to finally get a chocolate treat this week.
Yeah. So after, the most, we need to focus on the positive side, no more talks about the negative side. One of the most, beautiful things these days, that chocolate and candies are allowed into Gaza after 15 months of being banned entry to Gaza. So it was really nice to eat a chocolate again, to be able to eat a chocolate. We had chocolate for breakfast, we have chocolate for lunch, and for dinner. It became our official meal right now, because we missed the taste of a chocolate throughout the past 15 months. We missed eating snacks and chips. My children are just very happy and enjoying that. Even I'm a careful mother of giving them sweets and candies, but I need just to let them enjoy it to the max, because we endured a lot. The first, also some of the fruits are allowed into Gaza. That time, my 1.5-year-old son, he saw the strawberry for the first time. He knew strawberry on the photos, only on the pictures. So he pointed on it and said, "Oh, strawberry!" But he hesitated to taste it. Actually, he was afraid to taste it because he doesn't know the taste of a strawberry. One time he saw the fridge, and we don't have a fridge actually in our place, but he managed to saw a fridge, and he said, "Oh, it's a bus." And I told him, "No, it's a fridge." And he was like, "What is this? What is fridge? What does that mean?" So we are talking about like,
what was that first taste of a strawberry like?
He was like trying to take it, but he was hesitating actually to enjoy it. He tried to taste it, and then he said, "Oh yeah, strawberry. I need a strawberry. I want more strawberry." But he took just half a day in order to get used with the taste of the strawberry.
Oh man. Listen, I hope that this interview will allow people to remember the simple pleasures in life: chocolate, strawberries, and even just refrigerators.
And coffee as well.
We are.
Coffee, add coffee, please,
right,
to this conversation.
Just add coffee, of course. Okay, Maram, thank you for sharing all of this with us, and thank you for coming on The Take.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
And that's The Take. Now we want to hear from you. What stories do you want to see next on the show? Let us know in the comments below what you'd like us to cover, because your feedback helps us shape future episodes. So don't be shy. We'll see you tomorrow.